Hi, thanks for checking out our channel here. This is going to be a little testing, how-to test video, whatever, on these this particular unit, the Parmak Solar Pak 6. This is not the newest version, but this is a fairly new one, or newer. They made an older one that was just a red flashing light up in there in the corner, one of the corners. The complaint on this one, loose post. See the knob moves everywhere, but even when I turn it on, it doesn't do anything at all. The needle gauge doesn't move, it doesn't click, it doesn't do anything. So we got to get it apart anyways to get this all tightened up so that thing stays in place. So if you've got one of these Parmak 6-volt or 12-volt solar units, you're welcome to send it in to us for us to look at. Now on Parmaks, of all the brands we work on, this is the only brand that we cannot sell parts for. They have their UL listed units, that little UL symbol right there. Most brands that are UL listed have some kind of, at least Parmak anyways does, has a policy in place through them that forbids anybody from selling their parts. It's because of some kind of liability policy, insurance thing, whatever. We can work on them. I got every part in the book for these things, except for maybe the solar panel, which don't go bad that often. So it's usually not too bad to fix price-wise. I mean, a new one's a couple $100, and they're usually a lot less than that. They're usually almost always less than half price to fix one, like, you know, $35 to $75 to fix one, give or take. One of these things. So if you got one, send one in here to us. Let's work on it. And if you want to send a unit in, send just the square center housing. Don't send me the rest of this crap. Save a bunch of money on freight. You know, pretty easy to get apart. First thing you're going to need to do is take the lid off. I need a flat screwdriver. They're not riveted. They got these little, they look like a rivet, but they're just punched in, a little recessed spot there. Kind of pushes pressure against this part of the housing, but just get a flat screwdriver in there and it's kind of lifted up. You do that to both sides. 12 volts are the same way, just bigger solar panel. And the lid comes off. Got this cardboard in there. Usually it's in there to kind of keep the battery sandwiched in place. And you want to pull the battery out. If it doesn't come on at all, the first thing you want to do is check your battery. This is a 6-volt battery. A 12-volt version is basically they take two of their 6 volts, smash them up against each other with some kind of glue in the middle, and then they take a jumper wire. The other battery sitting like this, and the other two terminals are right over here, and take this wire off the negative over here and jumper it to the positive on the other battery, and then your wires on the 12 volt just go to the two leftover tabs. And there's a plus and a minus stamped on the battery there, but that's how they do it on those. So this is a 6-volt battery. Let's just test it real quick, make sure it's good or not. Which one? Oh, did it quit? Okay. This battery's only got 3.5 volts in it on a 6-volt battery. Alright, so we need to let's hook up a battery. Let's hook up a power supply to this battery and see if we can bring it back. See if it will, like it's going to take a charge. We're going to put about 7 point something volts on our power supply, and we're going to hook it across here, and we're going to look at our amp gauge on the amp draw gauge on the power supply, see if it has any draw. We're pulling about 0.3 amps, but you would think having 7 volts shoved into a 6-volt battery only reads 6.5 volts, that would have a lot higher draw. So this battery's probably got a bad cell on it. So we'll set off the side and see what happens. What do you want? It's on top of that unit. Behind you. Alright, so let's probably needs a new battery, but we'll check. Let's take this part of the housing out. I'll most of them, they've just got these 2 screws here at the front, 2 little bolts there, Phillips. And on the later versions, or most versions, there's just a nut on the back side here. The current ones that are out now have got a little metal tube that's built into this metal case with no nut. It just kind of threads in there and stops. But just kind of grab it, hold the back of it with your finger or a pair of pliers or whatever. Come on. So set those aside. What's that arcing? Which one is that? Okay. And push that center section in, lift it up and out. And this is all I would need, is just this part right here. Now your battery wire of the unit itself and the solar panel wire are spliced together with these, they call them Scotch lock connectors. You can get these apart. You have to get a screwdriver underneath this little flap here, pop it open, there's a little metal blade, a little metal piece inside here. You can pop that up with a little screwdriver, and then that will release, and you can pull the wires out of it, and then you can send this this part of this cable right here with it. If you can't get it apart, just cut it right here, and when you get it back, just splice your black wires together and your red wires together, then run the wire off each end that goes to your battery. That's all you got to do. We're not going to worry about that right now. So now what I got to do is I need a little my screwdriver here, or my drill bit, I mean. He's got these bushings in here. We got to drill all 4 of them out. These little brass bushings in there. The back, the cover's open, dried up. So let's get this red knob tightened up. And we probably gonna have to replace this board too. This MOV on here, it's cracked on top. Or that's just dirt. It might just be dirt. Let me get my Dremel tool. No, that's cracked. I don't know what size that is, if we even got them. I don't know. Alright, let's get this red bolt thing tightened up. Now this, probably getting hard to see. On this inside red piece, it's got a little, it's round, has a little, there's a little, I don't know, a little piece of red plastic right there. And you look down inside the case, where's it at? Right. God, it's hard to do this one-handed. Right there at the top of the metal case, there's a little, room with this thing. The wires are too damn short to show you anything. Alright, right there at the top of the metal case is a little notch in the middle there, right by my thumb, just to the right of my thumb. Well, that little red piece of plastic on it that kind of sticks out right there, that goes in that notch. And that's what helps keeps this knob from turning. So now what we got to do, push that there, keep that in place, grab this outside red piece and tighten it up. It usually goes so far and stops. Oops, that wire popped off the red. So let's solder that back on. And we'll get a pair of pliers and do one little half turn or so on the outside to get that thing. You don't want to need it over tightened because you'll crack and break the plastic. Just make it snug. Now we'll take this red wire here, or the wire goes to the red terminal. We're going to long enough to reach. Right, we're going to add a little wire to it. So it's kind of short to start with. Let's strip off a little bit here. Add a little solder to the hot wire itself on the inside, and then we'll take this wire add some solder to it, blend the two together, wait for it to solidify, and then we'll cut to like right there, gives us plenty to work with. And then we'll take some electrical tape. We could heat shrink it, but I can't find my heat gun, so I'm not worried about that. We'll take some electrical tape, just do one little roll around it, and then we'll strip off a little bit on the end of this. Tin the wire here. Alright, so that's tight, negative's tight. It's applied good power. Now this battery's shot. It's already dropped way down. Let's just get the battery wire out, and we're going to put power straight to it. Switch is off. I'm just going to hold the wire like this, turn it on. See, nothing. Oh, there it goes. It's in the green all the way to the far right. Let's disconnect that, and let's put a tester across there. Getting 5.5 to 6, which is right where this one's supposed to be. Now that little protection piece cracked, but maybe that's just cosmetic. They said this thing got knocked off by a bowl and it fell, is what happened to it. So maybe it cracked that when it fell. It was kind of sitting like, you know, like that a little bit. Maybe, but that could be a little buildup of some sort too. That might not be cracked. It's a 2012 model, so the date in there, August 2012 is when it was built. So 10 year, going on almost 10 years old. So now we're just gonna probably talk to the customer about that deal in there, see if he wants to have the board fixed while we're in here. I don't know if I can fix that board, and I don't think I've got the same MOV in stock that's in there. But so what we do next, what we do here, is we get a couple of short bolts and nuts. We bolt the bottom corners together. We slap this thing back in the case, and then we put the bolts that originally came with it, put it back in the top there after we put it back in the big thing. But that's what we're going to do for now. We're going to do that for the customer. We'll call it, give them an estimate on the repair, which is pretty cheap, fix for this, and we're also going to get them a new battery, which we got those in here in stock as well. And then we'll see what they want to do about the board and kind of feel them out on that. So they just want to go ahead and change it while we're in here, or just run with it for a while, and it might last them 5 more years or 5 more months, but we'll see what happens. But anyways, if you like this kind of stuff, if you got one of these 6-volt or 12-volt Parmak solar units, you're welcome to send it here. We do give free quotes, and they're usually a lot cheaper to fix than they are to replace with a new one. Like I said, most times all we need is this piece here, not the whole entire unit, because solar panels don't go bad that often. Batteries can go bad, but before you go out and just, if it doesn't come on at all, before you go and just buy a new battery, test the battery. Get a voltmeter out and actually test that battery. It needs to be about, I don't know what the minimum cutoff is to make this thing run, this unit, but fully charged about 6.4 to 6.6 when they're fully charged up, and probably 6.1, 6.2 is probably getting close to the cutoff before they'll stop running. Maybe 5.9, 5.8, maybe they'll still run, but they get much below 5.5, it usually stops running right. But that's a little information for you on that deal. Anyways, if you got another fence chart that need to be worked on or looked at, give us a call, and happy to help you out.